Hello there. My name is Klaus Roste, and I'm doing 100 innovation keynotes in 100 days. Today's number 54, and today I'm going to talk about how sometimes you don't need to do anything but be aware. I'm filming this from my garden, and maybe in the background you can hear birds chirping. I know I can. I'm in shirt sleeves. It's spring. Now, 3 weeks ago, we had snow here. This garden was filled with snow. Being outside in shirt sleeves is not a good experience. And I've been thinking I wanted to record something outside because it's nice. It's nicer than sitting up in a stuffy office. But the weather wasn't really ready for it. Today it is. And then some. And I thought, why not make a point out of that? One thing is I want to record something outside. Get to do it here in our very nice garden. But I also want to say a little bit about how we sometimes get caught up in what we think we should do, instead of just waiting, instead of just being aware of what's coming, instead of following trends and saying, just because it doesn't work now doesn't mean the exact same thing can't work in a month or 2 months or even a week or half a year. There's some things out there where we need to change them. We put something out, it doesn't work. We need to change it. We need to iterate. We need to experiment. We need to innovate. But sometimes we don't. Sometimes it's perfect. Sometimes the only thing that's wrong is the timing. Sometimes you're 10 years too early. That's hard. Sometimes it's just around the corner. And instead of getting disgruntled, instead of getting demotivated and thinking, this is terrible, what do we do to change it? How do we make it better? You just think, would this thing work a month from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now? Can we survive that long? Can we afford to wait? Can we sit on our hands? Or we're not going to sit on our hands. Let's be serious. Can we put our energies elsewhere and just wait with pushing that button? Wait with pulling that trigger, or with going back into the lab and trying to split everything apart. Can we just take a look and see how would it be in a month or 2 or 3 or a year or 5 years if you're one of the big guys and have the possibility to have that sort of deep pockets or that long-term strategy outlook? There are many times where what we do needs changing. And I'm not saying that everything will be solved in time. One of the nice things about the weather is it's not really a surprise, right? We kind of know. We've gotten used to. I'm turning 42 this year. I've seen seasons before. Seasons are not new to me. So I know if I just wait, and then later, and this was a temperature graph for those of you who didn't catch that. So it's pretty easy to think in weather terms. It's pretty easy to think of high season or low season if you're in the travel industry, if you're in the tourism industry, for example. It's pretty easy not to despair if you are a ski resort and the snow melts because you know it'll come back. Well, hopefully at least. Let's leave that discussion aside for now. Sometimes you don't, but sometimes there are trends you can kind of latch onto. There are things, if you spend some time being aware on kind of sniffing at the world, in your industry, yes, but also outside, then you'll know that some things are coming. We all hear about 5G at the moment. We hear about machine learning. We hear about the Internet of Things. We may not necessarily understand all of it all the time, but we have a feeling it's coming. It's pretty safe to assume that if you figure out a product, let's say it's a software product, it's a software as a service thing, one of those SaaS-y things, and you're like, it works, but it's a bit slow. We need people to have fast internet for this to work, and they're not there yet. There's a good chance, pretty good chance, that if you kind of watch where the winds are blowing, then you'll know that maybe in a year it'll be better, or in fact, probably in a year it'll be better. Internet speeds will be higher in a year. They'll be higher in 2 years. This is not a certainty. There are many things that could change that. The world is a volatile, yada, yada. It's a VUCA place. But there's a good chance that if you design something that's a bit too demanding right now, in a year, in half a year, in 2 years, it's going to be just right. There's some things where it's not about speed, it's about awareness. You can know that if we're doing this thing now, and people need to understand how blockchain functions, for example, well, they don't get it now. Some of them do, but a lot don't. But in a year, people will know more about blockchain on average. In a year, people will be more aware of modern day feminism on average. In a year, you see where I'm going with this. So what I want to say and what I want to exemplify with this talk from our lovely garden is that sometimes you just need to wait. And sometimes the hardest thing is doing nothing at all, but trusting that you know what's going to happen and trusting that you can wait with pulling that trigger. Because launches cost. Rolling out things cost. If they don't cost money, they cost energy, they cost frustration, they cost sleepless nights, they cost anxiety and long hours. And sometimes all you need to do is wait. Now, whether that's innovating or not, it's debatable. Useful, I hope so. Thank you for listening.